Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today is Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have favorite love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. You know, one of the things we have to pay attention to is how the nations are hell-bent at getting rid of us. And we are the last ones to figure out this plan. When you get right down to it, I watched a video this morning. I think Brother Kish had sent one of them out, and it was talking about China's ability to make viruses that will target specific ethnic groups. And we already knew we had these same issues. Understand something, that research that was going on in Wuhan was also being paid for, helped by American money. So there was money being sent over there before this so-called sickness showed up. And we already know that these forms of government are sinister when it comes toward us. Maybe that's why we were told that we should be the ones to get the jab first, since we know that they can now target specific ethnic groups. You know, when I was in the hospital, I noticed just how much blood they were taking. I was like, what the hell y'all doing with all that? Man, y'all just came in here. What y'all need some more for? So you have to think about And I watched another program where it was dealing with how China has purchased their way into certain companies and gotten everybody's DNA data. So every person is going and thinking they doing a background check and they checking their family tree. All that stuff ends up in the hands of Chinese government, and they are able to target certain things. And I mean, we start hearing those stories right off the rip that family members were going to get their DNA checked, and all of a sudden another family member went to jail. And they use your DNA from you going in there to pinpoint another person. So think about if they were able to do that just on a regular police scale, what kind of scale they have here going on. Of course, we are not dealing with why they are coming after us so hell-bently. Is because who we are. We are the children of Israel, and the adversary, the devil, wants us gone. And we are being attacked on every front. And instead of gathering together, a lot of those things are calling us to splinter apart. But in that, Yahweh is also choosing his remnant in the process of all of those things. Now Moses called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel. In the Psalms it is written, Hear, O Israel. Isaiah says, Hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. The prophet Jeremiah says, Hear, O house of Israel. Ezekiel, Hosea, and Amos all pleaded with Israel to hear. And last but not least are the words of our God, King and High Priest Yahshua, who says the first of all commandments is, Hear, O Israel. Let's begin today's sermon in Deuteronomy chapter 24. And we're going to read verses 1 through 5. Yahweh has tried to get us to understand the connection of the relationship that he has with Israel by giving us a family, by giving man. He said, let us make man in our image. But then man was given a wife. Man was then given a family. All of these things are to help man understand the connection that we're supposed to have with Yahweh. So then when we when we get into a place where we get hurt by something, we have to consider, how have I made my God feel that same way? But what we do is we override what we feel because that flesh is ever present before us. We magnify that feeling and not understanding that that's what you're doing to your Elohim. Let's begin this at verse 1.
When a man has taken a wife and married her,
Yahweh says, I married unto you, Israel. So when a man has taken a wife, go ahead.
and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes,
After we decided that we were not going to abide by the house rules, Yahweh has now gotten to the point where we are not favorable in his eyes. He got house rules. It's house rules in every house. And if you go in a house where there ain't no rules, I can tell you there's a problem in that house. And house rules have to be adjusted. And you have to understand, anytime you get ready to adjust a house rule, you're going to have somebody barking at you. You want to preserve the house, so you're going to care about somebody barking at you. Which one is more important? Go ahead.
because he has found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and gives it in her hand, and sends her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is abomination before Yah. And you shall not cause the land to sin.
You should not cause the land to sin. So when we operate a certain way, it not only defiles us and the house, it then also defiles the land. So So these are things that you have to consider. The things that we may allow to go on in our house, it doesn't just defile the people, it defiles the house itself. Go ahead.
Which Yahweh your El gives you for an inheritance. When a man has taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he has taken.
So then Yahweh holds this so important that a man actually gets a break from work when he gets a wife. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? Yahweh said, no, why you here? Didn't you just get married? Well, go to do what married people do. Get the hell out of here. Go over there with her. Because he expects that bond to be a certain way. Why? Because it's a reflection of the bond that we're supposed to have with him. But see, we don't see that. All we see is flesh. Man, she look good. Where's your bond? Let's go to Matthew chapter 19. Go ahead, brother.
I was just going to say, a year gives you a lot of time to get used to the house rules and figure out how each other operates.
You got that right. But see, if you're not planning on abiding by any of them house rules, because there's the common saying is, well, he knew I was like this when he met me. Well, she know I don't do nothing but drink beer and watch the game. I mean, she knew that. Matthew 19, let's read verses 1 through 9.
And it came to pass that when Yahshua had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there.
Now, Yahshua is about to give his take on divorce. The Mosaic law said if he finds any uncleanness within his wife, that he will offer her a bill of divorce. What you have to do is pay very close attention to the words that are being used at this point. Go ahead.
The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
For every cause, because the law itself ended up saying for any uncleanness that he has seen in her. Now, uncleanness, when you deal with that, it encompasses all of the law. But just by allowing that one statement to be there, it leaves up to other people's thought process of what they believe uncleanness is. Yahweh has already described what uncleanness is, but man and how man deals with things, this is why they're tempting him with this question. Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Here in this land, you can say irreconcilable differences. We just didn't like each other. But there's something that goes deeper than that. Go ahead.
And he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh?
When the two become one, you're talking about spiritually merging and going in the same direction. When you have situations where two individuals are going in two different directions, you now have yourself an issue. When one part of the house is being directed by one spirit and another part of the house is being directed by another spirit, we got a problem. And that's just that doesn't stay right there in just between the married people. Okay? That goes along with anybody that then comes into that circle. You let your cousin come. I don't care if it's your son or daughter. They have a different direction. They in that house. You got a schism in that house. Because Yahweh is leading the head one way, but the tail going somewhere else. Go ahead.
You know, when Yahweh said a whole year, then we can understand when he says the two shall be one flesh. But in this day and age, we know people married right back to work. And this whole pandemic
You get a weekend.
thing.
You get a weekend.
Yep.
You get a weekend. You better do it Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. You better start early Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You be back at work Monday.
This pandemic has led to a lot of people knowing that they don't know each other.
A lot of divorces happened during this situation, and a lot of babies was made during this situation. So it was one or the other. We got a lot of pandemic babies around here. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Wherefore there are no more two, but one flesh. What therefore Elohim has joined together, let not man put asunder. They say unto him, why did Moshe then command to give a writing of divorcement and put her away? He says unto them, Moshe, because of the hardness of your heart suffered you to put away your wives.
Because of the hardness of your heart suffered you to put away your wives. But why? You have a situation where Yahweh is still causing a situation where there should be peace in the house. And if there is this thing there, the hardness of your hearts is going to cause some other situations. Keep going.
But from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, commits adultery. And whoso marries her which is put away does commit adultery.
Okay, now what you have to ask yourself in verse 9 is why does he use the word fornication instead of adultery at that point? Because when a wife goes to anybody instead of her husband, that's adultery. He ain't say adultery. He said fornication. So now we're dealing with something on a whole nother level. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife except it be for fornication. Fornication encompasses a lot of things even on top of adultery. Adultery is specifically dealing with a married situation. He says wife, so he know it's a married situation, but he didn't say adultery. He said fornication. That then includes the spiritual fornication as well. Go ahead, brother.
That was verse.
That was it?
Yep.
Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, let's read verses 1 through 16. Because understand, Yahweh says that as we turn around and have dealt with all of these other worship practices that we think are cool, you know, they start us out in school. You know, Halloween come around, they give you a pumpkin to color. You know, so you getting indoctrinated to it. They have you, you know, making, you know, Valentine cards when they come around, you know, and have you to pass it out to, you know, to somebody in the class. So you getting indoctrinated to their way of life. Yahweh says you have now fornicated with other spirits. He says you shall worship no other gods. You shall not even mention the names of those gods. Go ahead.
Now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife has not power over her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband has not power of his own body, but the wife.
Now, we like to deal with that one way. I got power over her. Wait a minute, now she got power over you too. Wait a minute, I ain't, where that at? Where they say that at? We didn't see that part. So every time you see a brother beating on his chest, he tell you about how he got power. Every time you hear that, I ain't heard a brother yet say, yeah, you know, she had power over my body. I don't hear no brother talking about that. That ain't locker room talk. They don't mention that in the locker room. Right. Why not? This is the very next verse under that. This next line. It is in the same verse. How is it? We hear all the time how much power the brother got over a situation, but the damn next line under that says she got power over you. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, you also don't hear Sister saying, isn't it lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Brother would say that. But
Your brother sure will say that. Especially when he want her to do something she don't want to do. Right. See, you get the right woman that's versed in this word, and she gonna show you something. You come out the wrong way. That's why brothers be trying to get sisters that don't know nothing, so they can come halfway crooked in their word. But you get some sisters that know that word, and you come crooked, and she gonna turn that. Well, let's read this over here. See, now we find ourselves in a situation where Cletus got to come with it. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Defraud you not one the other, except it be with consent for a time.
Do we even understand what they're talking about? They're talking about marital relations. That's what it's talking about. Do benevolence. All right? Marital relations. Defraud you not one another. Go ahead.
That you may give yourselves to fasting and prayer.
Now, if people say, no, the Bible wouldn't talk about that. Well, the Bible talk about happy time. Right. Read, man.
And come together again, that Satan tempt you not.
Oh, so when you ain't taking care of certain business, Satan at your door. Go ahead.
Satan tempt you not for your incontinency.
So he knows when he can see it on your face. They ain't getting no happy time. Finna attack that dude. Go ahead, bro.
You know, that's why at the beginning where it says, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
But you heard that right out of there. But if that ain't given unto you, you better go find you something, because this ain't gonna work. Go ahead, bro.
But I speak this by permission and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as I myself. But every man has his own proper gift of Elohim.
Yes. One after this manner and another after that. The question is, you have to ask yourself, are you operating in the gift that Yahweh gave you to do in the place that he gave you to do it? If he gave you the ability to write, but you vacuum in the flow, you can turn around and say, yeah, I'm doing works. Right. But are you doing the one that you're supposed to be doing? And if not, ask yourself why. Why am I not doing the thing that I am gifted in? What caused me not to do that? Yahweh said covet the best gifts. The best gift is the one that you're supposed to be doing. You might think cleaning this building is easy. Let somebody do it that don't know what the hell they doing. We all be in here sick. Go ahead, bro.
I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the adnate. Let not the wife depart from her husband.
Now, you begin to see this as you go along in certain parts, even of the law, that Yahweh is dealing with a level of divorce that's different than the way that we're dealing with it. Because especially when you talk about him and dealing with Israel, even divorcing the parents and marrying the children, what he's doing, he's reestablishing his covenant. He never leaves his covenant, even though he says, all right, my wife Israel has been rebellious, I'm gonna put her aside. After a while, he reestablishes that covenant with the children, which then does what? Reunites him with his wife. He's always at the point of reuniting. Go ahead.
But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried.
Let her see. That's where we start to have the problem at. No, I'm free, baby. I'm free. I'm free to do whatever. No. He said, if you depart, now go and stay by yourself. No, we want to go. But we not, wait a minute, remain unmarried. See, what does that do? Encourage reconciliation. Go over there and sit by yourself for a little while. You go over there and sit by yourself for like, you know what, baby, I've been a fool. I realize I've been a fool. I am sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. Can we hug? Being by yourself changes things. Remain unmarried. Go ahead.
Or be reconciled to her husband. And
all about reconciliation. Atonement. Go ahead.
And let not the husband put away his wife. But to the rest speak I, not the Adonai. If any brother has a wife that believes not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman which has an husband that believes not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
If they be pleased to dwell with you, that means that they are not causing you problems in your walk. Go ahead.
For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but Elohim has called us to peace.
Now, the key word there is in verse 15, call us to peace. That's the key word. Go ahead and read that last line.
For what knoweth you, O wife, whether you shall save your husband? Or how knoweth you, O man, whether you shall save your wife? And
that's also something that we don't deal with, that the woman has the power to be able to save her husband. That ain't nothing you hear on the corners shouted out when people be playing battle scrap either. You don't hear that. You don't hear that at all. Go ahead, brother. You have something?
No, I just want to touch on the first part of verse 15. It says, but if the unbelieving depart, that don't mean you sit there and provoke them and push them and antagonize them.
That's where we find our loophole. See, we treat them real bad, and then when they depart, we say, you see, they left. Well, if you set all my drawers on fire, I'd leave too. Let's go to our Genesis chapter 21. Yahweh will not be mocked. You can play those games if you want to. I guarantee you he better. Me and Kish had to sit there and listen to a brother say some stuff like that. She gonna be forced to come back, and then she'll have to accept whatever I got going on. All right. Told him exactly what was gonna happen. He lost the first one and the second one too. Right. Tried to tell you. Genesis chapter 21, and let's start at verse 1.
And Yahweh visited Sarah as he had said, and Yahweh did unto Sarah as he had spoken. But for Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which Elohim had spoken to him.
All right, but before that situation, Sarah had given Abraham a wife, Hagar, the Egyptian, and a child was born, Ishmael, out of that union. Go ahead.
And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Esaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Esau, being 8 days old, as Elohim commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Esau was born unto him. And Sarah said, Elohim has made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Esau was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking.
Right. Now, and where did he learn that from? He learned that from his mama. As soon as Hagar got pregnant and she realized that Sarah wasn't, she began to attack her. So now in the process of time, her child then attacks the other woman's child. Go ahead.
Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Esau. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son.
Now, the thing was very grievous because now Sarah is demanding that she be removed from the house. Why? Remember the verse that we read before. Elohim has called us unto peace. There ain't no peace in the house. Sarah is upset. Sarah said, the woman and the son need to go. Now, Abraham is worried. Keep reading.
And Elohim said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad, and because of your bondwoman. And all that Sarah has said unto you, hearken unto her voice, for in Esau shall your seed be called.
But hold on. He says Yahweh don't like divorce. Yahweh said, no, your wife right. Send the other woman and her kid out here. See, there's levels of dealing with things when you deal with Yahweh. Yahweh said, no, she right. Because if that boy grow up around that boy, we're going to have some problems. Send her and that boy out of here. Go ahead.
And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is your seed.
Because he's your seed, I'm going to take care of him. I'm going to let some good things happen to him. Don't worry about that. But he got to get away from this promised seed. He got to go. The mama got to go, and the child got to go. When Yahweh get ready to take care of some business, he don't really care how nobody feel about it. He don't care what you think, feel, and believe, and none of that matters at all. And it says point blank, he was grieved. Because he's trying to figure out what to do. Yahweh, I'm going to help you out. To the left. Go ahead.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed, and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, Let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice, and wept.
One of the things you're also going to find out about Yahweh, he shows up at a time when you have allowed certain things to get into your heart. Understand, he already told Abraham what he was going to do. But why does he wait until she has broken down before he shows up? Keep reading in the volume of the book and see when Yahweh show up. We don't ever want to go through anything. We don't ever want those situations. But understand and pay attention to when he shows up. Because if he show up during your most glorious time, you think you did it. You patting yourself on the back. I did that. Did you see me do that? I did that. No. He wait till can't nobody else do it. All your money spent. Every time you ring that little credit card, it goes, Everybody in the line know you ain't got no money. Then Yahweh said, all right, they ready for me now. All this stuff that's going on out here in these streets, Yahweh getting us ready for him. Because at this point, we ain't really trying to hear that. Go ahead.
And Elohim heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of Elohim called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, What aileth you, Hagar?
Like he don't know. What wrong with you? Why you crying? You hungry? Baby, you all right? He know what the deal is. But this is that time. See? Once we get to a broken and contrite spirit, now it's that ground done been tilled. Oh, now you can receive seed. So you can talk to somebody about the word and they be like, man, get on out of here. Something happened in their life. And you were telling me that stuff you were telling me again about Israel. Oh, you want to hear about Israel? Yeah, I want to hear about salvation now. What happened? Right. Something happened in their life and it tilled that ground. Go ahead.
Fear not, for Elohim has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in your hand, for I'll make him a great nation. And Elohim opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad drink. And Elohim was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt.
Now you have to understand something as well. What you see is the different parts of this culture. Hagar was an Egyptian. What kind of woman she went and got for him?
An Egyptian.
Right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5, and let's read verses 27 through 30. See, for us to have the protection, the things that the nations have planned for us are exceedingly sinful, exceedingly grievous when you get right down to what they have the ability to do. And they have all decided that, and we know this from various things that we have read, that they have a population control agenda, that they have an agenda about how many people should be upon the earth. And the people who they believe should leave just so happen to look like us. So then when you deal with viruses that will target only certain ethnic groups, you have to look back and see all of the things that has even happened to us here. When there was the so-called fall of Germany during, their little world wars, what did America do? Go and get the very scientists that they said was doing all the evil to the so-called Jews, all the experiments. How all of them seem to find a place here? Because they was interested in, show me some of that Frankenstein stuff y'all was doing over there. Yeah, it was bad. But show me how you did it again. Why they want to know that? Because they plan on using it against some people. Now who you think those people are? Go ahead.
Brother, it was what was interesting in that article also, with all that the Chinese are collecting, they're not allowing for their DNA information to be collected by any other nation.
And that's got to be the greatest part of stupid. When somebody say, show me what's in your bank account. Okay. Well, let me see what's in yours. Oh, what the hell? You give me mine back. That's playground 101. Let me play with your ball. All right, I'll let you play. I'll give you the football. You give me the basketball. No, give me the football and I'll keep the basketball. We're gonna punch this dude over by the swings. You understand what I'm saying to you? This playground 101. How you give them people all your DNA information, but you didn't let them have? You didn't get nothing from them. But we're supposed to be the smartest nation around. Now, whose dumb idea was that? Whose dumb idea was that? And then we get in line and go and vote for the idiots. And one of them idiots okayed this. Yeah, just give them all our information. What could happen? Read, man.
Verse 27. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, you shall not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Now, he's already talking about the situation of adultery. It's funny though. You notice he didn't say fornication. He said adultery. This is directly dealing with the covenant. But then go into verse 29 and read that.
And if your right eye offend you, pluck it out.
If it offends you, it's causing a problem with your walk. Go ahead.
And cast it from you. For it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body should be cast into hell.
Right. They'll tell you, hey man, a part of your body is having some issues. All right. If we don't cut this foot off, it's going to go all the way up and damage everything going up. So we got to go ahead and cut it off now. So you want to limp in the kingdom or you want to die here? What you going to do? You got to cut it off. Well, take that spiritually. What have we joined on to spiritually that is hindering our walk? The question is, do we even see that it's hindering our walk? Do we even see that it's hindering our work? Are we able to even look back and say, man, I used to do this and this, but now I'm doing that and that? Are we able to even pay attention and see that? Go ahead.
And if your right hand offend you, cut it off.
And see, that's what we do. Last thing we want to cut off is, we'll tell you in a minute, oh, that's my right hand man. Yahweh said, cut it off. Do you understand what that right hand is causing you to do? Do you understand what that right hand is leading you to do? Whole lot of people in situations. Why? Right hand. Now what if that right hand is your spouse? Go ahead, bro.
And cast it from you. For it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body should be cast into hell.
All right, let's go to chapter 16. Matthew chapter 16. See, we have to have enough faith unto Yahweh that whatever we lose here, that he has the power to restore. Why do you think he even chose Abraham? He said, I know for a fact you will honor me. He said, look, you gave me this, you told me promises about this boy, but now you asking me to sacrifice this boy. Well, I believe that you gonna restore me. Our problem is we don't believe. Matthew chapter 16, and let's read verses 21 through 23.
From that time forth began Yahshua to show unto his disciples how that he must go on to Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day.
Now understand something. Yahshua is not saying something that they don't want to hear. Yahshua is talking about him suffering. They're like, no, man, we don't see you heal people. We don't see you bring people back from the dead. Man, ain't nobody. What you talking about? Who gonna kill you? They not trying to hear this. Because now their feelings are involved. They love him. Okay? Go ahead.
Then Cephas took him and began to rebuke him.
Now, Cephas gonna rebuke his teacher because his teacher done said something he didn't like. Jake the same from generation to generation. Jake ain't changed. We the same Jake that we always ever been. His teacher done said something he ain't like. He's finna now rebuke his teacher. Go ahead.
Saying, be it far from you, Adonai, this shall not be unto you.
I know you might have came from heaven, but you don't know what the hell you talking about, Yahshua. What? Go ahead.
But he turned and said unto Cephas.
Now, Cephas is there physically. What's going on spiritually? Go ahead.
Get you behind me, Satan.
He didn't say Cephas. He said unto Cephas, get thee behind me, Satan. Why? Because he is now fornicated with a different spirit. Nah, I need to talk to that spirit. I don't need to talk to you. I need to talk to that spirit that's operating in you. that's using your feelings to try to direct something in a different way. That ain't the way I'm going. That ain't the way my daddy need me to go. Y'all need redemption, and I'm the only one that can do it. So I'm gonna need you to take your feelings and put them in that bag. Go ahead.
You are an offense unto me. For you savoreth not the things that be of Elohim, but those that be of men.
And understand, this is his right hand man. This is the one he said, I'm gonna build my church on you. But you done fornicated with Satan now, and I got to go ahead and get him up out of you. Go ahead.
That was the verse.
That was it? All right, let's go to Psalms chapter 81. When the job needed to be done, Yahshua did the job. He didn't care nothing about who feelings was going to get hurt when it was time to do the job. Satan done got up in you, and I need to get him out of here right now. The longer he stay there, the harder it's going to be to get him out of there. And he knew that he was in there because of the words that came out of his mouth. See, that be the testimony that we testify against ourselves not knowing. Them words that proceed out of our mouth. You can tell what kind of spirit somebody got by the word. Good morning. Morning to you. Ah, damn. I know what kind of spirit I'm dealing with today. They say nothing but morning. But how did they say morning? See, had I paid attention earlier in life, I wouldn't have got jumped on by them 10 dudes at the mall. I would have known that it was a bad spirit when the 2 turned to 4 and 4 turned to 6. I should have left 8 dudes ago. Not paying attention to the spirit of how somebody operates. Because your spirit can jump from person to person. We keep dealing with people. No. Spirits is what we are fighting against, not the people. You spend all your time fighting one individual, and then the spirit said, well, I ain't profitable here. I'm going to jump into the brother that's sitting on the other side of the room. Now you still looking at this brother over here, and the spirit is over there using him. Psalms 81, and let's read verses 1 through 16.
Sing aloud unto Elohim our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the El of Jacob. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel, and a law of the El of Jacob. This he ordained in Yosef for a testimony, when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. I removed his shoulder from the burden. His hands were delivered from the pots. You called in trouble, and I delivered you. I answered you in the secret place of thunder. I proved you at the waters of Meribah. Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto you. O Israel, if you will hearken unto me.
Right, if you will hearken is listen. Will you listen, Israel? You have an adversary that is on the way that's stronger than any other adversary that you have ever faced in your life. And the way to prepare for this is to renew your covenant with your Elohim. Go ahead.
There shall no strange God be in you.
There shall no strange God be in you. What happens? You have now fornicated with another God. A strange God is in you? Go ahead.
Neither shall you worship any strange God. I am Yahweh your El, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me.
Right. Israel is hard to reach. See? So when you talk about all of the things that have to come upon the earth, that have to come upon us, Yahweh got to get our attention. Because even with these things, we too busy turning against each other. We have now gathered into groups of shot and no shots.
Yes, the shots against the no shots.
we know these people have a history of poisoning us. The CDC own website say you got 2 to 3 years to make a complaint about any adverse effect. Man, look how many years it took us to find out that them shots were giving us sickle cell. Now, how those with the high mercury just happen to make it to our neighborhood? How peculiar. Go ahead.
So I gave them up onto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways.
Right. If Israel had listened to me, and Israel had walked in my ways, what would I have done? Go ahead.
I should soon have subdued their enemies, and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of Yahweh should have submitted themselves.
Yahweh got haters. The haters of Yahweh got haters. If you ain't got no haters, something wrong. Everybody like you ain't jack. You should have some haters. Because Lucifer got his people and Yahweh got his people. And when you doing something for Yahweh your Elohim, you gonna have some haters. Yahweh got haters. They hate him. Go ahead.
But their time should have endured forever. He should have fed them also with the finest of the wheat, and with honey out of the rock should I have satisfied you.
All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 3. See, you start dealing with this thing of no strange God being in you, then you have to examine some things after that. See, then you got to go back and read something. Genesis chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 1 through 19.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh El had made.
Right, which made him more accessible to use for deception than any other beast. It made the adversary. See, he's going to pick what he needs to use to get to Israel. So he finds something that's slicker than everything else. And normally, that's what we pick our right-hand man, because we think that's cool. Man, look how slick he is. Look how slick she is. Yeah, that's going to be my right hand. Right. That's the one that's about to get you killed. Go ahead.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, as Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
Now, how he know what Elohim said? See, he's in the know. Go ahead.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die.
You shall not surely die. He gonna throw in an extra word in now. You won't die. Not really. Go ahead.
For Elohim does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods.
Right. Don't you want to be like us? I'm a god. He a god. You eat this, you gonna be a god too. You won't be a god. Go ahead, take a bite. That's all that's standing in between you and the Godhead. Come on. Go ahead.
Knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat.
All right. So at this point, she has now fornicated with another god. She has now taken the words of Elohim, cast them behind her, and decided that she was going to take this word. See, that's what you find. You can tell when people be watching a whole bunch of videos, they're getting different spirits from every other place, and you jumping around. You don't know which spirit to follow because you're getting fed from too many places. You got to be able to decipher some of that. You don't give a child a piece of steak, he gonna choke. You got to be careful with some of that stuff. Go ahead.
You know, brother, it's interesting that you brought that up, because I was meditating on that earlier this morning about how we even got into that practice. And when you think about it, when you're younger and you got them holier than thou people in your family, what is the TV on all day long? TBN channel. When it's on TBN, those are all different religions going on throughout the day.
It is.
So we get out and we take that with us.
And you know, I didn't know that right away until I was, you know, forced to sit in front of some television and it had that on, and I started noticing the different stuff that were coming on afterwards. I was watching the one program because I had no choice, and then something come on. I said, wait a minute now. They just said something different than what the folks said over there. Then you get something else to come on, and you're like, oh, you watch this, you gon' bat crap crazy. Every last one of these things is a different direction. You gonna be so lost. You can't get direction from everybody. You cannot get direction from everybody. It's gonna be a problem. Go ahead.
And gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
And he has now accepted another God as well. So the spiritual fornication has happened in the garden from the beginning. They have taken Elohim's words, cast them aside. Now you understand why Yahshua went so quick to chastise Cephas. You fornicating with another spirit. Why? Because his words coming out your mouth. You ever been talking to somebody and you know that the words that they're using ain't there? Go ahead.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of Yahweh El walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh El amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahweh El called unto Adam and said unto him, where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself.
Well, if they like gods, what you running for? You supposed to be a god. What you scared of? Well, you no. What God running from another god for? See, that sin causes a separation. And check this out. Yahweh didn't lead them. They ran from him. See, people don't even see that. They think that their cause is just as they run. No. You separating yourself from Elohim and don't even know that that's what you doing. Go ahead.
And he said, who told you that you was naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat?
But somebody else came and told me something else. Because I watched another program after you went off. Go ahead.
And the man said, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Yahweh El said unto the woman, what is this that you have done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Everybody passing the book. Go ahead.
And Yahweh El said unto the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon your belly shall you go, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life.
Right. And when you see the situation, when the devil entered into Judas Iscariot, he didn't see nothing that he had done until the deed was done. Then the devil left him, and then he came to himself and then killed himself. Then he wanted to try to give back the money. What happened? The demon was running all those things before. That evil spirit was running all of those things before. So right at that moment that he came to himself is when either you get to the point of you get strong enough or get enough of Yahweh's help to rebuke that evil spirit, or the evil spirit finished its course. You probably don't want the evil spirit to finish its course. You want to stop it somewhere. Go ahead.
And I'll put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. It shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In sorrow you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be to your husband.
Now, why did he have to say that? Your desire shall be to your husband. What was she doing? I'm going to go to Elohim without you. He took care of that business then right there in the gun. Your desire going to be to him. I'm going to deal with the head. You deal with him. Yahweh took care of that business. That's what was happening here. I'm going to bypass my husband. Understand who those commandments, that those things were given unto. They were given unto him. How she found out? He told her. But then that drive and how the evil spirit worked, you can go directly to Yahweh. You don't need no teacher. You don't need no husband. You don't need no this. You can do this on your own. That's how people cause themselves to be separated. You know what? I can do my works anywhere. Yeah. I ain't got to do my works in the place where Yahweh called me to be. I can do my works anywhere. Right. You separating yourself, and there's going to be a real drastic end to it. Go ahead.
And he shall rule over you. And unto Adam he said, because you've hearkened unto the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree, which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it.
You see what he said? You hearken unto the voice of your wife. See? No. You listen to her. You weren't confused. You wasn't tricked. You wasn't deceived. You listened. You took her word over mine. Go ahead.
In each instance here, when he first shows up, he calls for Adam, right? And he says to him, have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat of?
Right, I commanded you.
And then in verse 17 again, he comes around. And you have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying you should not eat of it.
So he ain't confused on who he gave the instructions to. Go ahead.
Cursed is the ground for your sake, and sorrow shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face shall you eat bread, till you return unto the ground, for out of it was you taken, for dust you are, and unto dust shall you return.
All right, let's go to Malachi chapter 2. So that's the part that we don't like to deal with. See, when Yahweh comes, he's coming intently to the head of that house. He didn't say y'all. You didn't see y'all in there 9 times. Now, it was 2 people there. He didn't say y'all not a nary time did he say y'all. You. That I commanded you. You. Yeah, but you know, she hit not you. But you know, she was sitting right here, you. So you need to understand who he's coming for. You. Yeah, but Yahweh, I didn't do that. She did. You. I'm coming to talk to you. I don't talk to her. I talk to her after I talk to you. Because you the one I gave commandment. So you need to understand that, at least you be confused. Malachi chapter 2, and let's start at verse 1.
And now, O you priests, this commandment is for you. If you will not hear, and if you will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, says Yahweh of hosts.
Does Israel understand that we were always set to be a kingdom of priests?
He's okay. He talking to the priest. I can stop listening. He talking directly to Esau. He is not talking to me. I ain't got no reason even to. Y'all wake me up when this is done. I wake up on the next chapter.
I guess we don't understand that. No. Yahshua was the high priest. So who the under priest? You. How you think the nation's gonna get taught? You think we need a whole bunch of priests to just teach ourselves? Is that what you thought? We just gonna be priests. We just gonna be priestly priests and priests. We just gonna be priesting among ourselves. Just we priesting, baby. That's what you thought. Who gonna teach all them other people? What you think he raised all us for all us to be together? People go to college, they don't all go home together. They went there to learn. After that, hey, you gotta go get a job. Get the hell out of here. Go ahead, bro.
You know, for the nations to have an understanding, even for the time for them to come up to Jerusalem to take part in these holy days.
You got it.
They have to have a priest around them.
Somebody gotta teach them something and understand how this thing goes. It says priests don't get land. They were spread out among. See, we have this vision that all the priests were in one place. Those priests had to be spread out amongst the land of Israel. They were everywhere. See, we don't get that. So then you take that and multiply that on a larger scale. Now you got the whole earth. You talking about, yeah, I'm a priest. I'm going to live in the holy city. You may live in Antarctica, nigga. Wherever he needs you to teach at. Read, man.
I will even send a curse upon you and will curse your blessings. Yes, I have cursed them already, because you do not lay it to heart. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feast, and one shall take you away with it. And you shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, says Yahweh of hosts. My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me, and he was afraid before my name.
Respect. When you operate in fear, you can tell when people don't have no fear. Stuff run right out of their mouth. They'll talk back right away. They don't have any fear, which coincides with respect. See them same people and the police come up and no words come out their mouth. Oh, you scared. You showed him fear. You showed him respect. See, because Yahweh don't show his weapons right away, we ain't got sense enough to be scared. But when he show you who he is and the power he has, you're going to learn to fear. What you think the whole part about come up to the mount that they may learn to fear me? What you finna do? I'm going to show them a little bit of my power. I'm going to show them what I'm working with. And get a little thunder, a little lightning, a little horns, you know what I'm talking about? A little something. They about to see something. After that, what Israel said, we don't want to talk to Yahweh no more. We don't want to talk to him no more. You talk to him and then come back and talk to us. And if people understood the power of Yahweh, they wouldn't be trying to jump in the line to try and bypass the protocol and get to Yahweh. At least you turn around and run into some power that causes you to melt inside yourself. Go ahead, bro.
The law of truth was in his mouth, and lawlessness was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from lawlessness. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth.
We will seek the law at anybody's mouth. Anybody who can talk. We let them tell us. Same problem in the garden. Jake ain't changed. We'll listen to anybody. Doing what? Fornicating. Go ahead.
For he is the messenger of Yahweh of hosts. But you are departed out of the way. You have caused many to stumble at the law. You have corrupted the covenant of Levi, says Yahweh of hosts. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according as you have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law. Have we not all one Father? Has not one El created us? Why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother, by profaning the covenant of our fathers? Yehudah has dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Yehuda has profaned the holiness of Yahweh which he loves, and has married the daughter of a strange god.
Wait a minute. He has married the daughter of a strange god? See, we're talking about spiritual unions here where we decide that we're going to take direction from something other than Yahweh. And understand, when something stands in Yahweh's stead, Yahweh calls that. When you deal with the people running up to Peter, hey, I what you seen me do? Ain't no power in me. This power comes from Elohim. So while those people are on that business and you deal with that wrong, you have blasphemed against the Holy Spirit and don't even know it. Still feeling justified. Still walk around talking big. Go ahead.
Yahweh will cut off the man that does this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Jacob, and him that offers an offering unto Yahweh of hosts. And this have you done again, covering the altar of Yahweh with tears, with weeping, and with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering any more, or receive it with goodwill at your hand.
And this you have you done again, covering the altar of Yahweh with tears, with weeping, and with crying out. It's a vain show, insomuch that he regards not the offering anymore. Then you keep doing the same thing. Go ahead.
Yet you say, wherefore? Because Yahweh has been witness between you and the wife of your youth.
Yahweh has been witness between you and the wife of your youth. Then you got to get back to those first works that you were supposed to be doing. That is the wife of your youth. What you doing now? Go ahead.
Against whom you have dealt treacherously. Yet it is she, your companion, and the wife of your covenant. And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed. Therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth.
Why? Because, once we get a little older, get a little smarter, get a little bit more money, our likes change. See, I remember when I was 15, 16, the best car I could possibly think of was a Buick Regal. Yeah, that was, I was just, then you get a little money, you say, you know what, damn, that Corolla look nice. Wait a minute, they just make Corollas? No, they been had Corollas. What happened? Now you believe you can afford it. Then a little later, you know what, man, look at that BMW. That BMW is nice. Look at that. Man, that's an ultimate driving machine. Look at that. Wait a minute, how you like that? Well, I realize I can probably afford it, so now I like it. Do you like it because you can afford it, or you like it because you like it? Why do you like it? Go ahead, bro.
For Yahweh, the El of Israel, saith that he hateth putting away.
He hates putting away. So even when he deals with separation, it is all about reconciliation. Go ahead.
For one covers violence with his garment, says Yahweh of hosts. Therefore take heed to your spirit, that you deal not treacherously. You have wearied Yahweh with your words. Yet you say, wherein have we wearied him? When you say, everyone that does evil is good in the sight of Yahweh.
Yep, but see, we're going to say that because those are our friends. So we turn a blind eye to the things that our friends do, but we point out everything that any of Yahweh's servants do. Oh, Yahweh gonna take care of that business. Go ahead.
And he delights in them. Or, where is the El of judgment?
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 15. Matthew chapter 15, and let's start at verse 1.
Verse 1. Then came to Yahshua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
Now, what kind of stupid situation is this? Are we going to waste time talking about whether or not you wash your hand before you eat? This is what you're going to come to Yahshua about? Tradition? And you know, all it takes for us to have some tradition is us to grow up doing it. We've grown up with men. I heard them same words when I decided that I wasn't going to let my kids keep Christmas no more.
Are you going to go against the tradition? He said, today we having the Easter egg hunt.
I won't be there.
Are you going to go against the tradition? This is the whole family going to be there. We're going to have all kind of eggs and colors and everything, chocolates. Why are you going against the tradition? This is a family gathering.
Whose tradition is it? Because when I look in this book, I can't find it. So I'm going to need you to take that tradition back to wherever you got it from. Because it ain't happening here. Then you start getting them sneak gifts. Well, they supposed to be bringing a gift for one thing, and then you look and you say, nah, man, them damn Christmas gifts. You done snuck some Christmas gifts in this damn house. Tradition. Whose tradition you gonna follow? See, because we have been in so many places and dealt with so many things, half of the thought processes we got are because of other people's tradition. So for you to figure out the tradition that you're supposed to be dealing with, you gotta go in the volume of this book to find out the tradition that he wants you to deal with. His tradition is in his laws, statutes, and judgments. That's where his traditions are. That other stuff we picked up from Mama and them. And they ain't know what the hell they were doing. They were doing whatever the people did before them. And now we hold it to heart. We got to all gather to eat on Sunday. Why we got to all gather to eat on Sunday? We got to have Sunday dinner. Why we got to have Sunday dinner? Big Mama and them did it. Big Mama and Big Daddy. Right. Go ahead.
You know, we, in life, you know, we think only our enemies can let us go straight, and not consider that our families and friends too can allow us to go astray and go off and get killed, you know?
Brother, every time I done had my rights read to me by an officer of the law, it was connected to some damn friend. Right. Go ahead, brother.
Matthew chapter 15 and verse 3. But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your tradition? For Elohim commanded, saying, honor your father and mother. And he that curses father or mother, let him die the death.
Right. But don't you let nobody trick you into worshiping their God because you trying to honor your mother and your father. Don't you do it. You can honor somebody without worshiping their God. Go ahead.
But you say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift by whatsoever you might be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. For thus have you made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition. You hypocrites, whether the sayers prophesy of you, saying, this people draw near unto me with their mouth, and honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
Right. So you have those things that are said, but then you have to watch the actions. Do the actions match the words? Go ahead.
But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Right. There was a different set of commandments that the adversary, the devil, gave to that serpent to give to man and woman. Those are a different set of commandments. Yahweh gave one set of commandments. Here come another spirit that they fornicated with that gave another set of commandments. Go ahead.
And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. Not that which goes into the mouth defiles a man, but that which comes out of the mouth, this defiles a man. Then came his disciples and said unto him, Know you that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying?
Yahshua offended people constantly. I feel sorry for the people who think that I offend people. Wait till you see my God King High Priest. If I am offending to, just wait till you see him. He offending people who heal other people. And going right on about his business. Go ahead.
But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
Right. And we go seek out the blind so they can lead us. Go ahead.
Then answered Cephas and said unto him, declare unto us this parable. And Yahshua said, are you also yet without understanding? Do not you yet understand that whatsoever enters in at the mouth goes into the belly and is cast out into the draught? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashen hands defiles not a man. Then Yahshua went thence, and departed into the coast of Tyre and Zidon. And, behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast, and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Adonai, you son of Dawid. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. But he answered her not a word, and his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cries after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Now, you say that in the wrong circles, and you're gonna tick some people off. Because they'll tell you, Yahshua, Christ came for the whole world. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. There's order in the house. Yahshua comes for Israel. Israel has to deal with the rest of the world. That's why they want us gone. They want to rearrange the order. He didn't come for the whole world. He didn't send anybody to the Gentiles until after his death and resurrection. All right, Saul, go over there. Saul didn't walk with Yahshua. There's order in this. And our problem is we don't like to follow the order. We've allowed other people to talk us out of the order. The order includes you doing what you're supposed to do. The reason they talk us out of it, because you have power in this. This is your legacy. This is your culture. This is your history. This is your history and your future. And the adversary, the devil, want to talk you out of it. The same thing he did in the garden. You won't surely die. He trying to talk you out of your inheritance. Go ahead, bro.
When you look at where the nations stand and wanting us out of the way, the thought process is like the 10 brothers with Yosef. We can look at that as prophecy where they all think that we gonna ill-treat them because of what was done. And what Yahweh said, no. He had to come out and say, no, this was necessary.
Right.
And what we going through is necessary to get us back in right standings.
You got it.
Then came she and worshipped him, saying, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs. And she said,
some of us would have been gone already. No, Yahshua ain't called me no damn dog. You supposed to be Christ, you gonna sit there and call me a dog? You ain't got no love. There ain't no love in you nowhere. Yeah. See? This us. Going off our own understanding. The little that we got. Now consider the other people who are around that may be in earshot. You know, I heard him call that girl a dog. They was talking about he's supposed to be the anointed one. That don't sound anointed to me. ahead, brother.
And she said, truth, Adonai.
Truth. Go ahead.
Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Then Yahshua answered and said unto
So
her,
instead of lashing out emotionally, she went on a whole nother level with this thing. Go ahead.
Then Yahshua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is your faith. Be it unto you even as you will. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour.
But what did she do? What did she do really by saying, don't the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master table? What did she do? She accepted the order. I understand you came for Israel, but I know you got some crumbs of some blessings that'll take care of me. You respect the order. Woman, your faith has healed you. See, we want our blessings, but we want to go out of order to go get it. Go ahead, bro.
And Yahshua departed from thence and came near unto the Sea of Galilee, and went up into a mountain and sat down there. And great multitudes came unto him, having with them those that were lame, blind, dumb, maimed, and many others, and cast them down at Yahshua's feet. And he healed them.
And understand why Cephas will believe that can't none of this happen to you. He has sit there and witnessed all this. The lame, the blind, the dumb, the maimed. And he healed all of them. So when he gets ready to say, because he's following the instructions that's given to him by his father. Okay? He says, I must go and suffer many things and be killed. No, I rebuke you, Yahshua. Oh, you rebuking me based on your feelings. Not based on the job that I was given to do. You've lost sight of the job. See, you've let your feelings get involved in the job. The job is the redemption of the children of Israel. This is the job that I have to do. All right? You have allowed your feelings to get connected to me. I have a job to do. I got to come here and die so that you can live. You have lost sight of the job. Go ahead, bro.
Insomuch that the multitude wondered when they saw the dumb to speak, the maimed to behold, the lame to walk, and the blind to see, and they glorified the El of Israel.
All right, let's go to chapter 17, and let's start at verse 14.
Matthew chapter 17 and verse 14. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him, and saying, Adonai, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oftentimes he falls into the fire, and often into the water.
All right, so his son is grievously vexed, and he does all of these things. Go ahead.
And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Yahshua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me.
Now, this is another feeling hurting situation here. The man is hurt about what has happened to his loved one. Yahshua's first words are, "Oh, faithless and perverse generation." So the man sitting here, I got the answer for the whole generation. I'm just here for my son. I didn't know I had the answer for everybody, you know. Oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? But this is why you learn to keep your mouth shut. The very last words. Bring him here to me. That's what you're waiting for. Be careful with them feelings. You waiting for the last word. Bring him here to me. About to get what I asked for. But you got to stand there long enough to deal with that. See? But see, our mouth start running before he finished talking. We're talking. Oh, faithless and perverse. Who you calling faithless and perverse?
You don't know me.
I mean, you just showed up here. You know, you don't know me like that. Think you is anointed one, right?
Then when he gets to the part, bring him here to me.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
See, you done ran your mouth too fast. Shut up. Your blessing on its way. Go ahead.
And Yahshua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Yahshua apart, and said, Why could not we cast him out? And Yahshua said unto them, Because of your unbelief.
Because of your unbelief. Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you.
Okay, stop. Why did they have unbelief? Do 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 do. No. Do 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 do. He said, I went to your disciples and they could not heal them. What was not there? Yahshua what? See, they got faith as long as he there. So he's purposely leaving so they will learn to do things without him. See, once you get that crutch and you start depending on that crutch, you think you can't walk without the crutch. I first got out of the hospital, man. I had that staff with me the whole time. Then I went in the backyard to clean out the shed, and a rat jumped out of the box, and I dropped that damn stick and went high the hell up that hill. What happened? Situation and circumstance. I got the hell on. That rat went right across my hand. I said, oh, hell, I'm out of here. Now, Rebecca was beside me. But when I looked up, I just saw the back of her head. She left me, boy. She got the hell on. What happened? I had to drop that crutch. That same stick that was holding me up was holding me back. Yeah, I got to go. I couldn't move over the arm fast enough. Right. You just missing the right situation and circumstance. That's all you're missing. Then you find out how much power you got. You got way more power than you think you got. Go ahead, bro.
Howbeit, this kind goes not out, but by prayer and fasting.
This kind goes not out, but by prayer and fasting. Now, you got the one that is vexed with the devil. But he's not the one who's going to be able to fast and pray for his redemption. Somebody else got to fast and pray for him. See, this is another one of our bypass methods. We gonna fast and pray for ourselves. Huh? No, somebody got to fast and pray for you. And then you fast and pray for somebody else. That's how that works. The man vexed with the devil ain't the one who's fasting and praying. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 49. At least you say, I heal myself.
You know, I was vexed and I touched myself and I healed myself.
Where we read that at? Show me where that's at in this book. Where somebody heal themselves. Come on, man. Show me where that's at. Isaiah 49, and let's start that at verse 1.
Listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken you people from far. Yahweh has called me from the womb, from the bowels of my mother has he made mention of my name. And he has made my mouth like a sharp sword.
I'm sorry, he made my mouth like a sharp sword. He make my mouth like hot butter. And it just smooth, and I just say that we read the scriptures. Would you like to hear some songs? No. He made my mouth like a sharp sword. Go ahead.
In the shadow of his hand has he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver has he hid me, and said unto me, You are my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified.
Do you understand that that's your job? Do Do you understand that it is your job to get the glory of the God of Israel? So you either getting the glory of the God of Israel or you getting blasphemy for the God of Israel. Go ahead.
Then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with Yahweh, and my work with my El. And now, says Yahweh, that formed me from the womb to be his servant.
He formed me from the womb to be his servant. Do you understand you were born for this? You think you just here? Go ahead.
To bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of Yah, and my Elohim shall be my strength. And he said, it is a light thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give you for a light to the Gentiles, that you may be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Right. The Gentiles, a lot's got to happen then, because the Gentiles got to recognize that the light is with the children of Israel and that they are supposed to be following what the children of Israel do. But what has happened, the adversary, the devil, has presented a whole nother group of people who are supposed to be Israel, and they haven't gone through anything that's written in this book. And anybody that spent more than 10 minutes in this book, no, wait a minute, this don't add up. These people supposed to be scattered everywhere. So if they don't serve him, they supposed to serve other people. So wait a minute, this don't fit what I see when I look at what's in Israel. Go ahead, bro.
And I just wanted to say too how, what you were saying earlier about having a man before you, teaching you these things. And some people don't believe about having a man before them. Mm-hmm. We see how Yahweh has always been putting man before us, even the nations, to guide them. Mm-hmm. So, I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
Bend down as you walk that way. Go ahead. But you know what? It's when you deal with a situation of order, we have always had an issue. We watched Moshe part the waters and still had a problem with him. Yeah. Come on, man. What else you need to see? What else you need to see? What all you done witnessed this man do? Man, Israel will come against anything. That's why Yahweh got to do way more than what's happening now. We think something is going on now. He's got to do way more than that to get our attention. Because that's just how bullheaded we are. You can tell us over and over, all right, that right there gonna get you killed. No, not me. He might have killed everybody else. But I'm gonna live. All right. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 6 here, there's some clues in the fact that all Israel isn't going to make it. And he says, is it a light thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel? And then you also a light to the Gentiles. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there cussing the Gentiles out, how are you going to be a light onto them?
Yeah, that's a strange light. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Thus says Yahweh, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despise, to him whom the nation abhorreth, to a servant of rulers. Kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship, because of Yahweh that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose you. Thus says Yahweh, in an acceptable time have I heard you, and in a day of salvation have I helped you.
In an acceptable time have I heard you. What's acceptable? When your heart is ready to receive instruction. They don't need to be talking to you you ain't ready to hear. Then his words are wasted. They fall into the ground. In an acceptable time have I heard you. When you're ready to receive correction. Go ahead.
And I will preserve you and give you for a covenant of the people, to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages, that you may say to the prisoners, go forth, to them that are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in all high places. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that has mercy on them shall lead them. Even by the springs of water shall he guide them. And I'll make all my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted. Behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north and from the west, and these from the land of Sinim. Sing, O heavens, and be you joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains. For Yahweh has comforted his people, and will have mercy upon his afflicted. But Zion said, Yahweh has forsaken me, and my Adonai has forgotten me.
Right. When you deal with the amount of time that the children of Israel have been made to suffer, you can understand why people would say, Yahweh has forgotten us. You have some of our people that say, man, ain't no God. If it's a God, man, why would these other things be happening? Go ahead.
Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget you. Behold, I have graven you upon the palms of my hands. Your walls are continually before me. Your children shall make haste. Your destroyers and they that made you waste shall go forth of you. Lift up your eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves together and come to you.
All these gather themselves together and come to you. But that's for the preserved remnant that does what they're supposed to do. Go ahead.
As I live, says Yahweh, you shall surely clothe you with them all, as with an ornament, and bind them on you as a bride does. For your waste and your desolate places, and the land of your destruction, shall even now be too narrow by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallowed you up shall be far away. The children which you shall have, after you have lost the other, shall say again in your ears, the place is too strait for me. Give place to me that I may dwell.
So when you consider verse 20, the children which you shall have after you have lost the other, consider all the things that Job lost. Then Yahweh turned around and gave him children in the stead of the children that he lost. See, we're so busy counting the losses, you're not thinking about when Yahweh gets ready to repay you for all the things that you have suffered along the way. Yahweh got the best payment plan ever. But he gonna pay you back when you are able to receive that. You ever seen somebody come into some money and 2 months later they broke? That money didn't help them. Why? Because their mind was not ready to handle those things. Yahweh not gonna operate like that. Say, yeah, I got a house, 2 cars, and $1 million over here waiting for you. But if I give it to you now, you're going to be dead by Thursday. You ain't waiting on me, I'm waiting on you. Go ahead, bro.
Then shall you say in your heart, who has begotten me these? Seeing I have lost my children, and am desolate, a captive, and removing to and fro. And who has brought up these? Behold, I was left alone. These, where had they been?
Right. Yahweh has preserved for us everything that we have lost. What he said, you're going to get houses that you didn't build. You're going to get children that you didn't birth. Don't think Yahweh going to bring a whole family because he want one kid out their house. No, he'll get that one kid. All right, you raise that kid. That's your family from now. Done deal. You think Yahweh got to deal with your raggedy uncle and aunt because he wants your cousin? No, you got my God mistaken. Go ahead.
Thus says the Adonai Yah, behold, I will lift up mine hand to the Gentiles, and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring your sons in their arms, and your daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders.
Right. When this thing go down, they gonna start bringing back the children of Israel. Say we getting horrible judgment in this land because his people still here. We got to take them home. Go ahead.
And kings shall be your nursing fathers, and their queens your nursing mothers. They shall bow down to you with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of your feet. And you shall know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? But thus says Yahweh, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contendeth with you, and I'll save your children.
And when you deal with this, you have to understand the ways in which the nations have waged war with us, and why he would say, I'm going to save your children. That biggest part of that war is against our children, but we're going to get to that in the next graphic. Go ahead and finish this up.
And I'll feed them that oppress you with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine. And all flesh shall know that I, Yahweh, am your Savior and your Redeemer, the mighty one of Yaakov.
So Yahweh is going to have to let the world know that he is the Savior of Israel. Now, if you go to the next graphic, you will see some of the ways in which the nations have warred with us. In this Lil Nas X video, he has all the people in the prison in pink. Now, he got men twerking like women in the prison. He's showing the whole jail code. What is this? This is making sure that this is the population control agenda. They have found easier ways to kill us, and it's biological. That's why people have to pay attention about what things they put in their body. Rather than them coming, remember in the beginning of the book, it says, hey, the children of Israel have gone greater and mightier than we. Every man's seed you find, kill him. Well, they have found ways to do this without having to physically pull the trigger. And one of those ways of cutting down our numbers is dealing with this population control. It used to be a time when being gay, what they said, you coming out the closet. Ain't no more closet, they in the damn living room. Now you got folk walking around with their rainbow bracelets, their rainbow shirts, their rainbow hats, looking at you like, what's wrong with you? You ain't gay? Hell no! And you see all this mess Dave Chappelle in? You say anything about something that they have set up to be this. Understand, this is now the policy of this land. You can't say nothing against anybody gay. You lose your job, you will lose your television show, you will lose anything. You got to think about that you can't say Yahweh said that a man shall not approach unto a man as he approach unto a woman. You say that in the wrong place, you are now at Georgia Department of Labor filling out some applications. That means this is the policy of their land. Do you understand? It is on its way to be dealt with by Yahweh. This is just not something. This is their policy. People have always made their own decisions. But when we get to a place, this is the same place that say you got freedom of speech. But I can't say what my God said? Oh, yeah, it's time for her to be destroyed. Freedom of speech, but you can't say that. Wait a minute. I'm just reading what's in the book. This ain't what I think, feel, or believe. He said this. You got a problem, you got a problem with him. You ain't got a problem with me. Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, at this point, those of us who are standing for righteousness should now understand when the scripture says, and Lot, that righteous man vexing his righteous soul every day with the things he saw.
Yep. Now, how this gets even more sinister, I ended up watching a video where Crazy Bone of Bone Thugs and Harmony stated in the video that he he and some others were invited to a secret meeting with other record company insiders, and they were told that their record companies had invested in privatized prisons and needed them to make gangster music only. The labels were told to sign only artists that delivered their messages in a foul manner. This would ensure that the prisons would be filled with young black people. In the thing, he says that other people that he would not mention their names, but they had already invested in private prisons. We talking about gangster rappers, invested in private prisons, and it bothered one of them so much that he just stopped doing music. Now, he was signed to Eazy-E's label. I remember Dr. Dre so-called retiring and just disappearing from music for a long time. He wouldn't say who they were, but they invested in private prisons and was told, this is the only kind of music that you do. See, me and Kish would talk from time to time, and we say, hey, well, you know, when we were younger, the people who made music, they met each other in college. Now the typical rap artist ain't got out of middle school. Some of the music, I can feel my IQ going down the more I listen to it. I just get dumber. I'm getting dumb as hell. The more I listen to this, I start talking stupid. What up, dog? Man, wait a minute. I don't talk like that. What the hell going on here? Turn that off. Hell, I condemn my own education listening to this. What happened? Something happened. Do you understand that this white Jewish man named Jerry Heller is credited with creating gangster rap? Not NWA, Jerry Heller, the white man. Them very people who called this meeting. So they invented this gangster rap, then made sure that they invested in the private prisons and made sure that our music would totally push our kids to that way. Now, some of that stuff you hear on regular radio is about drugs, miscellaneous sex. This stuff, it wouldn't even play on the radio before. Now that stuff play on the morning show. Why? Because there's an agenda to kill us. And Israel has to listen. The fight that we fight, that we have to fight, we have an adversary that ain't no working out gonna get. You ain't gonna go to the weight room and get ready for the devil. I don't give a damn what you lifting in there.
What you benching? 400?
All right, let me see you bench press the devil. Ain't gonna work. You're going to have to get ready for this fight another way. Go ahead, brother. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 50.
You know, you've often talked about how the adversary's thing is to kill it before it begins, right?
Uh-huh.
And we know Scripture says, and a little child shall lead them. So where's the attack? Get these young ones.
Right. Who you think them videos was made for? This dude in the prison yard in all pink. Men twerking. The hell is that? See, now it's not about you doing your own thing. Now you trying to push. See, this is the thing. When you talk about the word, people say,
Don't try to push your religion on me.
well, wait a minute. If you twerking on my television, you trying to put your sexuality on me. If that's what you do in your living room, then go in your living room. Put on your pink and twerk out. But why the hell are you on my television? Why the hell I gotta flip through the channels and see your greased ass? Read, man. It's like he fell in a jar of Vaseline. Read, man.
Isaiah chapter 50 and verse 1. Thus says Yahweh, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement, whom I have put away? Or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you? Behold, for your lawlessness have you sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away.
See, you did this to you. I didn't do this to you. You did this. But see, what does man do from the beginning? It was the woman you sent me. No, it was the serpent. No, it was him. No, it was them. It was those. No, it was you. Go ahead.
Wherefore, when I came, was there no man? When I called, was there none to answer? Is my hand shortened at all, that it cannot redeem? Or have I no power to deliver? Behold, at my rebuke I dry up the sea. I make the rivers a wilderness. Their fish stinks, because there is no water, and dies for thirst. I clothe the heavens with blackness, and I make sackcloth their covering. The Adonai Yah has given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He wakeneth morning by morning, he wakeneth mine ear to hear as the learned. The Adonai Yah has opened my ear, and I was not rebellious, neither turned away back. I gave my back to the smiters, and my cheeks to them that plucked off the hair. I hid not my face from shame and spitting.
Right. All the things that Yahshua has to suffer to get to the part of redeeming Israel and understand. Then Israel is going to have to go through a whole lot of things to redeem the rest of the world. Oh no, you in this equation. Go ahead.
For the Adonai Yahweh will help me. Therefore shall I not be confounded. Therefore have I set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be ashamed. He is near that justifies me. Who will contend with me? Let us stand together. Who is mine adversary? Let him come near to me. Behold, the Adonai Yahweh will help me. Who is he that shall condemn me? Lo, they shall wax old as a garment. The moth shall eat them up. Who is among you that fears Yahweh, that obeyeth the voice of his servant, that walketh in darkness and has no light? Let him trust in the name of Yahweh and stay upon his El. Behold, all you that kindle a fire, that compass yourselves about with sparks, walk in the light of your fire, and in the sparks that you have kindled. This shall you have of mine hand. You shall lie down in sorrow.
All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 3.
Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
But what does Yahweh say about us? Go ahead.
But you have played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, says Yahweh.
Right. Every time we went and worshiped all of those other things, we took part in all of those other festivities, then we had fornicated with another God, and we came back polluted and went right back to Yahweh. Shabbat shalom. Standing in our own pollution. Go ahead.
Lift up your eyes onto the high places, and see where you have not been lain with, in the ways you have sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness, and you have polluted the land with your whoredoms and with your wickedness.
Polluted the land. See, the pollution just doesn't stay with the individual. And if we understand that, then you understand why righteous judgment has to take place. You understand why some people have to be put out of the land. It does not just defile that person and their house, it defiles the land. That then means everybody gets defiled. Go ahead.
Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there has been no latter rain, and you have a whore's forehead. You refuse to be ashamed.
Right. Ain't no more, like we said before, ain't no more in the closet. It was a secret then. Now the doors done got taken off the closet. You can see right through the closet. That's supposed to be private stuff in that closet. Go ahead.
Will you not from this time cry unto me, my Father, you art the guide of my youth? Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, you have spoken and done evil things as you could. Yahweh said also unto me in the days of Uzziah the king, have you seen that which backsliding Israel has done? She has gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there has played the harlot. And I said after she had done all these things, turn you unto me. But she returned not, and her treacherous sister Yehudah saw it. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away, and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Yehudah fared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass, through the lightness of her whoredom, that she defiled the land.
She defiled the land. The land is defiled. This is Yahweh's land. This is his holy land. We carry the name of Israel. The land has the name of Israel. You cannot defile the land, nor can you allow others to defile the land. So when people say, oh, they were harsh and dealing with those things of the law, no. They had to do that for their own self-preservation. If we don't take care of this, he takes care of us. So this is not about personal feelings. This is about if we don't uproot the things that are defiling the land, then we and the land get defiled with it. That's the house and everybody in it. Go ahead.
And committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Yehudah has not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, says Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto me, the backsliding Israel has justified herself more than treacherous Yehudah. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return, you backsliding Israel, says Yahweh, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you, for I am merciful, says Yahweh. And I will not keep anger forever.
For I am merciful, says Yahweh, and I will not keep anger forever. But we have the hardest time doing this next part. Go ahead.
Only acknowledge your lawlessness.
There's some things that we could fix by saying, you know what, I apologize. But we got too much pride to do that. So then we go and do unnecessary suffering. Because we won't acknowledge. Listen at Yahweh, with all the power he has, with everything that he has on his side, he says, look, just acknowledge your lawlessness. Just acknowledge that you have done this against me. But like I said, Jake ain't changed. Jake the same. No, I ain't admitting nothing. I ain't did nothing, you did something. Jake is the same Jake that we ever was. Go ahead.
That you have transgressed against Yahweh your El, and have scattered your ways to the strangers under every green tree, and you have not obeyed my voice, says Yahweh. Turn, O backsliding children, says Yahweh, for I am married unto you.
I am married unto you. Go ahead.
And I'll take you, one of a city, and two of a family, and I'll bring you to Zion. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Now, here's the thing. When he gives you pastors according to his heart, and they start dealing with that word, do you then get offended? Remember how many people were offended when Yahshua started talking? Go ahead.
You know, earlier you was talking about, you know, how they thought things was harsh, the way they dealt with it in the land, how Yahweh said to deal with it. And that's because in verse 13, only acknowledge your lawlessness that you have transgressed against me. He says, and you have scattered your ways to the strangers under every green tree. So when certain acts happen, and he said to kill that person, that was to kill that idea.
Right. And if you don't, then it goes on and it keeps multiplying and it spreads into the land. What do they tell you? When you get a cancer, you got to cut it off. Otherwise, the cancer spreads to other parts of the body. What does he call this? The body of Christ, right? So you see something, it starts happening in one corner. You got one thing operating on its own, doing its own thing. That has started to be a cancer. If you don't get it out, it's going to spread to other parts of the body. You got to root that part out. Because it's going to cause issues in other areas. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And it shall come to pass, when you be multiplied and increase in the land, in those days, says Yahweh, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of Yahweh. Neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahweh, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahweh, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart.
All right, let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalms 130. You know, when you talk about, you know, having that faith that Yahweh is gonna take care of you, you know, I came out of the hospital and I had to hear everybody, you know, just go home and just rest. You know, don't, you know, you don't need to be around a lot of people. You need to be, man, I'm a servant of Yahweh. I got a job to do. I ain't going home to sitting on my John Brown hind parts and let Kish and them teach you out your damn mind. First place I came when I got out of the hospital was here. I ain't go home. You should do this. You should be, no, hell, I shouldn't. I got another chance to serve my Elohim. Damn it, I'm on the way. Let's see what you do after you get connected to tubes and can't talk and go throughout. Let's see, if you want to go sit down, you go sit down. Like my elder said, I rest when I'm dead. Psalms 130, let's start that at verse 1.
Out of the depths have I cried unto you, O Yahweh. Adonai, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to the voice of my supplications. If you, Yahweh, should mark lawlessness, O Adonai, who shall stand?
Which one of us is without sin? If Yahweh counted every sin that we have committed, who gonna make it? So we look down on this person because they got this kind of lifestyle. We look down on that type of person because they got that kind of lifestyle. Hold on. Have you counted the things you've done? Ain't nobody in here squeaky clean. Go ahead, bro.
But there is forgiveness with you, that you may be...
That's why you got to keep going. Because Yahweh is rich in mercy. He is rich in forgiveness. But you can't fake that repentance, though. He real with those who keep it real. Go ahead, bro.
I wait for Yahweh. My soul does wait, and in his word do I hope. My soul waited for the Adonai more than they that watch for the morning. I say, more than they that watch for the morning. Let Israel hope in Yahweh. For with Yahweh there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption.
Not redemption, plenteous redemption. Go ahead.
And he shall redeem Israel from all his lawlessness.
And that's what we have to stand on. Because being amongst the nations, we have been taught fornication. We have been taught all of these things, to fornicate with other spirits. We have been taught all of those things. And Yahweh is a jealous Elohim. He said it right off the rip. You shall worship no other gods before me. They have taught us traditions that coincide with other gods. For us to prepare and understand what's got to come toward us. If the adversary, the devil, is trying to get to us, then he's coming at us not just on a physical level, but he's coming at us on a spiritual level as well. So we have to do the things to make sure that Yahweh is going to protect us. Because unless Yahweh be with us on this great fight that we got to have with Lucifer, we shall not stand. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.